Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So Visa to acquire Currency Cloud. Visa has just signed a definitive agreement to acquire Currency Cloud, guys, a global platform that enables banks and fintechs to provide foreign exchange services for cross-border payments. Interesting to note here because Currency Cloud is a Ripple partner, and Visa just a couple of years ago acquired Earthport, which is Ripple enabled. So brilliant news here. The acquisition builds on an existing strategic partnership between the two companies. I wonder if that strategic partnership does indeed involve RippleNet or not. It doesn't say here. But they did have a strategic partnership that they struck back in 2019, and that values Currency Cloud at about £700 million. Visa participated in an $80 million Series E funding round in Currency Cloud in January, alongside blue chip investors such as BNP Paribas, another Ripple partner, and Siam Commercial Bank, another Ripple partner. The financial consideration will be reduced by the outstanding equity of Currency Cloud that Visa already owns. Currency Cloud's cloud-based platform offers a broad set of APIs enabling banks and financial service providers to offer currency exchange services, including real-time notifications on foreign exchange transactions, multi-currency wallets, and virtual account management. The Currency Cloud platform supports nearly 500 banking and technology clients with reach in over 180 countries. So big news there, guys. Two Ripple-enabled companies, one acquiring the other. Visa, of course, the bigger of the two, acquiring Currency Cloud. And you guys can even see here some of the investors in Currency Cloud were also Ripple-enabled partners, BNP Paribas and Siam Commercial Bank. So I see where this is going. Get on board. You know, these payment companies are just getting larger and larger and larger, and they're realizing, I think that in a lot of ways, the bigger companies are realizing, okay, the cat's out of the bag. Companies know about RippleNet. Everybody, all these smaller companies are trying to be able to compete with the bigger players. And so, you know, RippleNet, obviously that mechanism to democratize business and payments in that industry. And so the big guys are saying, look, we've got to either up our game or buy them out, and we are seeing now a lot more of these acquisitions, and I don't think it is a coincidence that they are all Ripple-enabled, to be honest. I think they're seeing that this is the way payments are going. Ripple obviously has a superior product, and I think we are going to continue to see more of this, so thought that was interesting, guys. I also saw this from DJ Peter Vass here on Twitter with regards to the Bank of Canada, and they expect a boom with CBDC. So with regards to this, the Central Bank of Canada released their draft paper about the adoption of central bank digital currency and explain their mainly beneficial facts to use. Central banks, or rather Canada's central bank, seems much eager towards adoption of blockchain technology. They are only pointing their eye on the beneficial facts of central bank digital currencies. They released their draft paper on Canadian CBDC adoption. You guys can read it down here. It is linked in this article. Through the draft paper, though, on Tuesday by Canada's Bank, authors outline beneficial and positive potential benefits of CBDC adoption. According to them, it will be easy to promote their CBDC in the present existing competition because people will see native CBDC as a better choice. They're already talking about it as if they have created it. It was only a few months ago now that the Bank of Canada we're looking at other countries like China and other countries and saying, look, these guys are already working on CBDCs. We have entertained the idea of creating a CBDC, but we're not going to jump on board until we really see that it is necessary. That was the Bank of Canada's stance just a few months ago. Now it almost sounds like they're rolling with it. So they say that. And also, they can improve their financial structure and their existing user base because there are many foundations in traditional infrastructure. With the adoption of CBDC in the traditional banking system, it will be a better ecosystem for people. I want to also remind you guys that the Bank of Canada is a Ripple partner. The Bank of Canada and the Monetary Authority of Singapore, both Ripple partners, and back in 2019, both of these banks conducted a successful experiment for cross-border payments using distributed ledger technology. We also know Ripple recently has created a private version of the ledger for these types of use cases, right? For central banks to be able to perform the kinds of cross-border transactions that they want to perform on a private ledger. So we're seeing the Bank of Canada, Monetary Authority of Singapore connection there with RippleNet. Back in 2019, they were already experimenting with distributed ledger technology. A few months ago, the Bank of Canada was saying, well, we're not going to jump into this CBDC pool right away. Now they're saying, look, it's on our doorstep. We're looking at it more seriously. And so that's the update with regards to the Bank of Canada. Wanted to thank DJ Peter Vass for pointing that out. I also saw this one, guys, from Dawdler4 XRP. This just out. This is Hester Peirce, and she's got an interesting stance considering she is an SEC commissioner. An interesting stance on stablecoins. Listen to what Hester Peirce has to say.
I mean, in some sense, the stable coins are a more exciting option than a central bank digital currency. They're competing stable coins now. And so I think that they can function in a very similar way to a government-run currency and don't have the same kinds of privacy concerns that a government CBDC might have.
So Hester Peirce sounding very open to the idea of stablecoins, whereas, that's kind of a unconventional viewpoint from an SEC commissioner, I gotta say. A lot of these times, these guys are about regulation, stability, being able to control what people are trading or utilizing their stablecoins for, or CBDCs or what have you. And she's saying, this is a more exciting option. I can see her viewpoint, though. In the space, there are several CBDCs that are private CBDCs, not government regulated. Some are more questionable than others. And I think that in a lot of ways, CBDCs will be utilized in a different way than stablecoins. Even down here, we have Bitcoin Batman been saying that for some time now. Stable is much more of a complete tool. CBDCs is a substitute for cash on hand, not a substitute of cash reserves. Interesting point of view here. And Hester Peirce saying, stablecoins are actually more exciting. CBDCs have that, almost mechanical purpose of, being created for what they are being created for. They are government coins, whereas stablecoins, well, let's see where all this goes. So an interesting and yet unconventional point of view here from Hester Peirce of the SEC, one of the SEC commissioners. Now, with regards to this, and I thought I'd bring this up because I thought that this was poignant as well. Michael at Val5Links brought this to us. Specifically, we urge the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee to forbid American athletes from receiving or using the Chinese digital CBDC or the digital yuan during the Beijing Olympics. I wonder why that is. U.S. senators seek to forbid American athletes from receiving and using digital yuan during Beijing Olympics. So, 3 senators wrote a letter to Suzanne Lyons, the chairman of the board of the United States Olympic Committee, Monday with concerns regarding the digital yuan. Senator Marsha Blackburn, Roger Wicker, and Cynthia Lummis wrote, Cynthia Lummis also, by the way, very cryptocurrency friendly, but they wrote, "We write to express our concerns with the communist Chinese government's plans to officially launch the digital currency electronic payment commonly referred to as the digital yuan prior to the Beijing Winter Olympics in 2022. They clarified, specifically, we urge the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee to forbid American athletes from receiving or using digital yuan during the Beijing Olympics." Now, this is a politically loaded statement. It is not, obviously, because they do not want their citizens to be part of the digital age and want to be able to transact digitally. It is because of surveillance. It is because of all the negative things the Chinese government can do when a citizen uses a CBDC. So the digital yuan, the People's Bank of China's central bank digital currency, is entirely controlled by the POBC and can be tracked and traced by the central bank, the senators explained. The Chinese government has been testing and giving away digital yuan in various cities, as we know, but the senators noted that the Chinese Communist Party insists their efforts are aimed at digitizing banknotes and coins. However, they warned Olympic athletes should be aware that the digital yuan may be used to surveil Chinese citizens and those visiting China on an unprecedented scale, with the hopes that they will maintain digital yuan wallets on their smartphones and continue to use them upon return. So a surveillance mechanism, perhaps being able to track you, likely being able to track you, and the American government obviously seeing that this is definitely a potential. Blockbeard down here saying, forbidding Americans from using Chinese currency when in China. We all know Beijing is not benign, and the digital yuan carries a toxic payload, but trying to forbid people from using the country's currency while in the country is like trying to nail Jell-O to a wall. Now, I guess they could still use physical cash banknotes, and but I guess I wonder if those are still available. I mean, I'm sure cash is still available, but it's likely a lot easier to use the central bank digital currency that the Chinese government is providing. And they said that, at the Olympics, this was going to be the time that they were going to roll this out. So, U.S. government suggesting that people going to the Olympics, Americans going to the Olympics should not be using this, I think speaks volumes to not only China, but I have a feeling, if it's happening in China and we kind of understand what the Chinese government is about, we know that it can also happen within our borders. The Western world, the United States, Canada, Europe, we are not immune to this, guys. Utilizing a CBDC could also have negative ramifications for the Western world. So I thought this was interesting. Wanted to bring this up too, guys, from BondCrypt XRP with regards to Gary Gensler. Now, he was just at a conference the other day, the American Bar Association Derivatives and Futures Law Committee. And I wanted to mention this to you because I thought this was interesting. He started off by noting, now listen to this. He started this off, guys, by saying, "I'm not speaking on behalf of my fellow commissioners or SEC staff." That was his first statement. This short sentence is now vital as the agency prepares to face the deposition of ex-SEC Director William Hinman for a speech he gave about the nature of Ethereum, not a security, back in 2018. The SEC chair spoke about security-based swaps in the aftermath of the Archegos meltdown and the SEC's completion of the implementation of derivatives oversights in the United States 11 years after Dodd-Frank. At the end of the speech, Mr. Gensler mentioned the intersection of security-based swaps and financial technology, including with respect to crypto assets. He says there are initiatives by a number of platforms to offer crypto tokens or other products that are priced off the value of securities and operate like derivatives. Make no mistake, it doesn't matter whether it's a stock token, a stable value token backed by securities, or any other virtual product that provides synthetic exposure to underlying securities. These platforms, whether in the decentralized or centralized finance space, are implicated by the securities laws and must work within our securities regime. So he is saying, basically, it doesn't matter if you don't think that this has to do with securities, or if it's a derivative, or if it's working within DeFi or centralized finance or what have you, we have jurisdiction over this. Let me also remind you guys, at the beginning of this, he is saying, "I'm not speaking on behalf of my fellow commissioners or the SEC staff." So he is not actually making this an official statement either. If these products are security-based swaps, the other rules I've mentioned earlier, such as trade reporting rules, will apply to them. Then any offer or sale to retail participants must be registered under the Securities Act of 1933 and effected on a national securities exchange. So the SEC has already filed complaints against retail offerings of security-based swaps and is likely to charge more blockchain firms in the future. So that just goes on to what is happening with regards to the SEC and this ongoing saga with cryptocurrency. They talk a little bit about Binance down here. But guys, take a look at this. So Ashish Birla just mentioned that Ripple is also venturing into asset tokenization, utilizing its renowned XRP ledger. And he said, tokenization is transforming how people buy, sell, track, and manage assets, everything from art and real estate to intellectual properties, equities, and supply chain goods. In fact, the World Economic Forum projects 10% of the world's GDP will be tokenized by 2027. So it sounds as though Ashish Birla, despite what Gary Gensler is saying up here, Ashish Birla knows where the future is headed. Not only that, Ripple is on track to do this. I mean, they are not doing this in the United States at this moment in time, but they are already doing this in other countries where there is the regulatory clarity. We're expanding from cross-border payment networks to a platform providing tokenized services that will bring crypto capabilities to the enterprise and prepare them for a future where crypto is front and center. RippleNet was initially built to solve the challenges with speed, cost, and transparency in cross-border payments for those that have been grossly underserved by the financial system at large. So the Asia-Pacific's progress crypto regulation is probably where Ripple will find momentum for its new product. So they're saying, Asia-Pacific, that will be the region where we start. But there is no lack of clarity in regard to blockchain-powered products that provide exposure to underlying securities. They are implicated by the U.S. securities laws. SEC Chair Gary Gensler made that abundantly clear. Ashish Birla basically saying, we are doing this, the world is moving this way. The World Economic Forum has also, reaffirmed that 10% of all things transferred will be on the blockchain by the year 2027. Just down here, there is also that July 28th deadline that was requested by Elizabeth Warren to get some sort of cryptocurrency clarity in line. She has requested information about the regulator's authority to properly regulate cryptocurrency exchanges and to determine if Congress needs to act to ensure that the SEC has the proper authority to close existing gaps in regulation. So there's that deadline there. Don't know if we are actually going to see some regulatory clarity by July 28th, but it is definitely an important date that we should be paying attention to. But back to Ashish Birla stating, look, Ripple is forging ahead in the regions where we have the clarity. He sounds fairly confident too that, Ripple is not going to be left behind. So the fact that Gary Gensler, the first thing he mentions is, this is not an official statement that I'm making here on behalf of the SEC, and then states his point of view. Everything under the sun should be and will be regulated if you think it belongs under SEC jurisdiction or not. All these products, these derivatives that you're trying to fly below the radar. Also just wanted to mention this real quick, guys. Gary Gensler gave a speech today, this coming from at State Comment here, by the way, on Twitter. Tether is implicated in the U.S. securities laws, and we've brought some cases involving retail offerings to securities-based swaps. Unfortunately, there may be more. Now I can understand why Tether's CEO is hiding. So it's almost like it's a tale between two cryptocurrency industries. One that has always wanted to abide by the regulations, i.e. Ripple and a handful of others. And then there's the other side, the renegades, the Wild West guys. The ones that are now in hiding because the hammer is coming down and they are going to be obliterated, unable to do legal business in the United States. Could this be why Ashish Birla is so confident that Ripple is going to take the lion's share of the asset tokenization industry in the United States once that clarity comes down the pipe? I mean, Gary Gensler, a lot of talk right now, but nothing official, as he has noted. Anyway, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.